Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
To Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pula. We're streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're also on the 360 TV network. We're also on USA Global TV and Radio Network. They are our show sponsor as well. A shout out to USA Global TV and Radio Network. We're also on Business Innovators Radio Network, MSP, newsglobal.com, and many, many more. I have an incredible guest today, and I'm so looking forward to a conversation with Kristin Rosmorduc. I'm so looking forward to an incredible topic. So let's bring in our incredible guest. Kristin, welcome to Brilliance Business TV.
Thank you. Great to be here, Mark. Happy to be here. I'm excited.
I'm really looking forward to a conversation with you. Now, you have had a really successful career in digital marketing, which I love, sales, which I love, customer experience, which is so important. A lot of people get the customer experience wrong, and digital transformation. Now, what led you to combine that experience with somatic leadership practices? And I love how you've put them together as well.
Well, I always was involved in the somatic practices. My mother had introduced me to, I guess the best word for it back then was metaphysics. I had a very unusual upbringing. And but I also had a very traditional father who encouraged my sister and I to, go to college, go the traditional path. And so I kind of combined two of them. Well, I didn't combine them, excuse me. I looked at them separately. And years and years and years ago, I was working in a company. I was really young, and I had a kind of a tough relationship with a manager, and I figured out a way to kind of help her. I knew what her stress was related to, and that help that I gave her helped our relationship and improved the business we were working in. I still didn't get it. This was 25 years ago, Mark. And I continued on my traditional path, and did my work and had my own frustrations, in corporate America, like a lot of us do. And I would turn to the somatic work on my off hours. And so several times along the way, I had people tell me, you really should be helping people and doing this work. And I was like, well, there's no place for it. There was executive coaching. I had worked with a lot of management consultants. No one ever touched on kind of the human alignment aspect of things, the compassionate side of things. It was always go, 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 go. So I really got trained as a coach and as a Reiki master about 12 years ago, still doing my thing separately. And I really felt compelled to build my own practice, helping people and aligning people. And it was really in a business setting. I'm very much into changing to compassionate business as opposed to fight. And when you do that, some amazing things happen. So it was sort of a natural progression, but I also got burned out, Mark. I got burned out at corporate, so I left it and I started developing my own framework.
I love it. I love that you've created it for yourself. You brought them together, and I think putting them together and having those somatic practices is what keeps you in balance. It stops you from burning out. So important, Kristin. Now, you often say that organizational transformation begins with personal transformation. What do you mean by that?
Well, I have a framework where I work with businesses that it really starts with the leader. And let me preface what I mean by leader. Leader doesn't mean you have a C as part of your title. Leader can be a manager, leader can be a director. In fact, I think individual contributors can be leaders, right, in different situations. But it always starts with the person. And usually we're dealing with a lot of fears, a lot of pressure, a lot of kind of unhelpful programming that gets in the way of seeing their own beauty and their own talents, other people's talents. So that's what I mean.
I get it totally. Subconscious programming, especially when you've got negative programming. I've been through that journey and it can be really painful as well. I know I went through a fearful journey where fear took over me and I was believing every thought that come into my head, and I started to get hypervigilance because I was so scared of my thoughts and believing every thought, and fear took over because what you focus on expands. I had to spend thousands on therapies and modalities. So I did hypnosis, NLP, RTT, so any kind of therapy, you name it, I did it. EMDR therapy, and I'm on the other end of that now. Like, I've got a lovely awareness now. I still do get negative thoughts, but I'm the observer of them, and I can, no, that's not me. I can let it go easily now. So I can relate to that kind of journey as well, Kristin. So I think the work you're doing and who you're supporting is really, really important. No,
you've really lived that just because you think it doesn't mean it's true paradigm.
Yes, but when you're getting hallucinations and negative thoughts and believing them, and it grows, your mind knows that they're not real. But when you're scared of the thoughts and believing them, especially when you're in manifestation as well, you can kind of fear your thoughts, that you don't want them to manifest. But then you realise they're just thoughts at the end of the day. And when you can get into things like breath work and being aware of your breath and allowing your emotions to come up, feeling them, not being scared of them, allowing them to flow through you, you realise as well that I don't feel like fearful thoughts manifest, because if they did, I think intentions manifest. I don't think fearful thoughts do, because the world would be horrendous if fearful thoughts was manifesting. I think if you're have an intention and you're feeling it really well, that's what's going to manifest, not fearful thoughts. So yeah, it's been a journey anyway, Kristin. I'm babbling on now, so let's get to your next question. You often describe yourself as a heart-led leader and unconscious conditioning. What does that actually mean in a business context?
So it doesn't necessarily mean being all mushy as a leader, right? And not setting boundaries and etc. I think from my perspective, and I've worked in a lot of so many organizational situations and with good leaders and bad leaders, is I think what it means is to realize that you're working with people. And most people they want to do well. They want to help, right? And if you approach it from that perspective, additionally, what I also mean by heart is really is stronger than your brain, right? So the electricity or the electrons or whatever that your heart emits is much stronger than your brain waves. And if you learn to drop down into your heart, it really helps you to make really heart-led decisions. And again, I don't mean being mushy or not making hard decisions. What I mean is it helps you get to the core of an issue, and it also helps reframe a situation that you're in and the people you're working with. I have a business that I'm working with right now. We're trying to do some realignment, leadership realignment, organizational realignment, and some go-to-market realignment. Let me just put it that way. And I'm really trying to help the leaders see, hey, your employees and your staff really want to do well, and perhaps they're looking at it this way. Then you can apply that to the organizational structure, your policies and procedures, and you can kind of reframe it. And the leader that I'm working with right now, we did an exercise the other day on this, and she went, "Oh my gosh, oh, you're right. He thought," and it was a situation, I won't go into details on it. Her employee thought something else, and she was directing one thing, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, if I just reframe it, go back to the center, okay, he really didn't mean to not do the right thing." Does that make sense? It's a really simplistic view of it. But that's what I mean by heart-led leadership. Can I talk one more thing about that? We're all serving other human beings for the most part, right? Even if we're an AI company, human beings are at the other end of it. That also means looking at who you serve, your customers, and the customer experience they're having. So again, it comes back to aligning yourself as a leader and where you want to go, and then keeping your heart open to hearing feedback, to hearing what your customers want, what your employees have to do. Then you kind of uncover the gold. And you're not looking at things with preconceived judgments. You're looking at things in a new way and collaborating with your employees and your customers. Does that sound?
I absolutely love it, and that's why I said stay on the call later, because it's so in alignment with what I'm doing right now as well. And yet you mentioned the heart and the brain connection, heart coherence. So that was really eye-opening for me, actually, Kristin, because I think everyone's so in the mind, and you think these thoughts are so important and the mind's so important, but then you realise it's actually the heart that's important. It's so much more powerful than the mind, like a lot more powerful. So yeah, I totally get this stuff now. Was there a defining moment in your career when you realised strategy alone wasn't enough to create lasting organisational change?
Oh, there was lots of them, and they kind of reached a crescendo. And I think it was many, many years ago when I was working at a media company here in the States, and the organizational structure was constantly in flux. Let me just put it that way. And I'm not going to tell you what company it was. It's a big one. And I had my job at that time was to do a lot of strategy around advertising and digital solutions. And we were just not aligned as an organization properly to be able to get some of these things done. And we were trying to drive new revenue, right? And I was not really in a position where I was managing a huge group of people, but I had to depend on a lot of people to get a new big project done. And what I realized is that even though I didn't have a C as part of my title, I still had to act in a way and get people to collaborate with me. And I did it in a very organic way. And I put everybody in a room, and they were from various and sundry departments. And I had an engineering department that didn't report to me, but I needed to get them I needed collaboration to create something completely new. And I realized then it's just not organizational setup, right? So I had worked with a lot of the big consulting firms, and they were always reorganizing us. And I thought, that's not really it. It's how are you working with your colleagues? How are you working across siloed organizations to really get in the same boat and row the same way? And this was not a situation where it would have benefited me or the company or the customers that we were trying to serve if I had berated and manhandled and pushed and pulled. I really had to sit down and take a lot of time to work with all of the different departments and all of the different people in the departments. And I kind of reached into corners where some people really hadn't had a seat at the table. And I was like, look what we could create. It was a little messy, honestly, Mark. But that's where I used a lot of my intuition, and I had been given a fair amount of autonomy. They just wanted to get this project done, and I had a certain amount of money I had to bring in, and it worked. And again, I didn't really have a title to say, oh, you're going to be, the organizational designer. I had to get a project done. And so I got really, really interested, and I kept working on the somatic work on the side, not realizing that I was using it in my corporate work. And I knew there was something I wanted to do with this. And this had to have been 15 years ago, Mark. So it's a work in progress. And, I had some fits and spurts, and I had some situations where I probably wasn't as gracious and wonderful, but that's probably the first time it really dawned on me.
I love it. I love it. Collaboration and getting in the same boat and rowing all the same way. I love that part as well. Now, if every leader listening today could make one change tomorrow that would improve their leadership and their organisation, what would you recommend, Kristin?
Listen.
Yes.
Yes. Be open and listen. Really listen with humility to what your teams have to say.
I have to say, communication is so important, and a lot of people love to talk, but when it comes to listening, and I have to say it as well, sorry, big leaders, even some big leaders who you would think are really emotionally intelligent, you would think these people are going to have great communication skills, but they don't know the art of listening. And I think listening, it's so needed more of, because you get more from listening than you do from speaking. And that is an absolute fact. Now, Kristin, I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today. Who would you love to connect with you? Who's that one person that you would love to reach out? I know you've got your amazing website, Creative Clarity Solutions, and they can put in a / and go to the about section as well. That's creativeclaritysolutions.com. Who would you love to reach out to you? Who can you support, Kristin?
I think any leaders that are struggling, they might like what they're doing, they like their company, but they feel like they're at a plateau and they're just not getting anywhere. They're frustrated, they're stressed. They might feel a lot of pressure to get to the next level. Oftentimes what we do is we uncover kind of their own hidden talents. And what I love doing is, what are the hidden pieces of gold that are already inherent in you, your teams, and what you have to offer? Let's reframe it and let's help, spur some more growth and also some more enjoyment.
Fun. Have some fun. I would encourage everyone to go to creativeclaritysolutions.com. That's creativeclaritysolutions.com. Kristin, I thoroughly enjoyed having a conversation with you today. Thank you so much for being my guest on Brilliance Business TV.
Thank you, Mark. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. You have a great show.
The pleasure has been all ours. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Brilliance Business TV, Conversations with Leading Experts.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.